I've had it told to me from several fellow architects, I don't know how in the heck y'all did it. It's remarkable, I think, in whatever profession you're in.
The 20 years is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be somewhere between a beer and barbecue and a fine wine and cheese affair.
Now, 20 years later, it's like, still, what the heck are we going to do for next month?
It's been 20 years.
Yes, it's been 20 years.
God, that's a long time.
I mean, it's great. We have 20 years of history now. We've learned a lot over the last 20 years. We've produced over 3,000 projects.
It's been a hell of a lot of fun. Let's keep it going, and don't screw it up, guys.
Sometimes we hate each other and sometimes we love each other, but it's been great. I couldn't do it without any of them.
It's not about the building, it really is about the people. We really want to develop relationships and long-term ones if possible, not just create buildings.
At that point, we're at another firm.
Each of us had our different expertise.
We had 5 individuals that were talented in different areas of architecture.
We kind of got started on the premise of client satisfaction.
So you just assume it's going to work out and you can do it, not knowing any better, I guess.
We decided it was time to go ahead and do something.
We didn't really know what we were doing.
A couple of them had been mulling it over for a while.
And we actually went to the Kimball Art Museum a lot. And we'd have lunch there and talk about what could be. And about in May, things kind of came apart at this other firm.
They were going to cut back on pay and extend working hours.
And Doug and I said, it's time. He caught me in the back room in the break room. And he said, it's time to go in and tell them. And I was shaking. I was so nervous. I just didn't know what to do. So we walked into the boss's office. We turned in our resignation letter on our own letterhead, and we said, we're done, thank you very much, and we walked out.
And then the other 2 guys at the time just decided to leave.
At that point, neither Bill, nor Woody, nor Scott had left the firm.
And that's kind of where we all made up our mind that we're leaving, except for Scott.
So they felt they needed a 5th for some reason, a 5th wheel. So went to lunch, we talked about it.
Scott stayed on another 2 weeks. We couldn't pull him out of there. But that's when we decided that we were going to leave and set up our own business.
One thing that I advise people when they go into business is to be sure you surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. So that was the first thing I did.
And made a wonderful blend. I mean, we had a blender then that we mixed it together.
All the 5 principals have all different personalities, which is good from the standpoint of you got the ones that are really out there entrepreneurial, and you got the ones that are steady and they're holding their ground and we can't do this and we can't do that, and you got the other guys pushing. And
Put us all together, I think it works okay.
We had all kinds of things going on. The only thing we were missing was clients.
The first jobs we had lined up we were just doing some construction administration for a facility down in Glen Rose, and that was all we had coming in.
It was very quick. It was kind of unexpected, but it ended up being a good deal.
You know, you're a partner with them in this project, so you're developing the whole thing.
First time I'd really owned my own business since I was a paper boy.
And here we are looking around for an office, and we went into the Camp Bowie space, which was available. Bill happened to know the realtors. They said they'd give us a month-to-month lease. We're going, yeah.
We kind of went on that road for as long as I can remember. And it was just really a terrific transition into the different functions that each partner was involved in.
We didn't really have computers, so we had to get computers in. First computer was one I had gotten. I sold my truck for $3,500.
We were really tight on funds at that time.
We didn't have a lot of equipment. We didn't even have a plotter for a year and a half.
And then we gradually got, I think, 2 other machines, one that Scott and Bill shared.
we had it on a little turnstile. He would get it in the mornings and I would get it in the afternoon, so we just kind of flipped it around so that we could use it.
And I think one Dave and Woody worked off of back and forth too.
Work started to come in, and within a few months we were overwhelmed with work.
We had a 6-month anniversary party at Angelo's. So we made it 6 months. We didn't think we were going to even make it 3, and we were sitting there just having beers and everything, and everybody went home pretty happy. But that first 6-month thing, I think that's where we thought that, you know, that this might continue on.
We had to hire people for the first time. That took about a year and a half from the inception date of the company, and then you just have this kind of confidence that it's going to work, and you can actually see it working.
I was wanting to get the check for our work with ponchos, so I went to their offices and they had the check waiting for me, and I didn't even look at it until I got back to the office, and it was a check for $100,000. Well, I think our billing was around $10,000, and so we decided, well, do we cash it or not? Well, we decided that it's best we take it back, and we did, and I think it resulted in getting some more work for them at that time.
We may not have the same level of naivete we had 20 years ago, and that's probably a good thing, but some of our people will, and that leads to kind of making bold moves.
We developed retail business through a contractor that we knew, and we referred to as our cash cow because we did retail all over the United States.
We hit it off with a vice president of the Melville Corporation. He liked us. He knew we weren't boutique architects. We could really kind of do anything. That was our background, and it has never really let up.
We'd have retail on the east and west coast, and we'd be able to move around, so if it was bad on one coast, it'd be good on another.
Developed a lot of other different kinds of work since then, but retail has always been kind of the core.
We wanted to award other people that had the same outlook as we did.
The guys had been in operation for a couple of years when I came over, but they were mostly focused on retail work.
We wanted to be able to weather the storms because most of the time in the architecture business it was very highs and lows. It was peak and go up and down all the time. So what we were trying to do was kind of level that field out a little bit.
My past was 10-year history with a civil engineering firm, running the architectural department. So I was exploring different opportunities, trying to keep at that point in time the three of us together, which was William and Harold and myself. We looked at a couple different things, and one of them was getting with David and Doug and Scott. I'd known them a little bit through AIA, and seeing if there was any interest there. As it turns out, there was a lot of interest because they were at the time looking to diversify their portfolio, their clients.
We kind of drove around a little bit more and looked in the back of this building and just kind of said, okay, well, it looks a little bit bigger. Then since the fence was there, we could kind of get up next to it and looked in there and saw the joists and stuff. And once we saw that, we thought, oh my gosh, this is really great. So then began to realize what we were seeing. We felt like we needed to have ownership in the building that we were in instead of just plugging away and getting rid of rent money. Then we wanted to make sure that the offices were open, so that's where the gate area came, so that everybody was kind of all mixed up and we weren't separated out into little cubicles. I think this group of guys has worked very well together and created a atmosphere that I think the employees enjoy. And that was one of the things that we wanted to do. It's been 20 years.
It's great we have that. We have 20 years of history now.
Well, 20 years later, it's like, still, what the heck are we going to do for next month?
Well, we've made it to 20 years, so we're doing pretty good.
It's been great. I couldn't do it without any of them.
It's not about the building, it really is about the people.
It's about the people that create it. It's about the people that live in it. It's about the people that see it. It's all about the people.
We really want to develop relationships and long-term ones if possible, not just create buildings.
It's going to be different 15, 20 years from now. We don't know how it's going to be, but hopefully the younger generation can help us understand what that might be, whether it be through technology or through clients or through the way we do business.
To think of our firm as a firm starting out again, that 20 plus 1 day, that's the first day of the firm, and to use that as kind of a, I don't know, not a mental game so much, but a way of looking at the firm and get the younger people in the firm engaged, just really everyone engaged, looking at the firm. Okay, I have the opportunity to, I'm in a firm that's starting out, I have some say in how we kind of chart our path into the future.
But once we make 20 years, we need to think about that 1 second. Right after that, what are we going to be doing? And we're thinking about, you know, it's a refresh. You need to come back with fresh ideas. How are we handling what's coming down the pike with everything digital?
We've been able to ride out a lot of the problems that other firms have had because they're so specialized. We're specialized, but we've got enough people that we have 5 or 6 different specialties, and that's helped us weather those storms. In the future, I'd say that that's probably the way we need to keep going.
Everything that's come along is, we have to treat it as a tool for design, because design comes from us and from circumstances and context on how we treat all the buildings.
I think the competitive edge that we have, from what I hear talking to other clients, is our personal service. We're not the only ones that do it, but there's not many that do operate like we do.
You just don't know the feeling that you have is that something that you started or helped start, I wasn't alone in it by any means, that is still in existence. I mean, I've had it told to me from several fellow architects, I don't know how in the heck y'all did it. To have 5 partners to start out with and still have, well, taking my place, still have 5 partners after 20 years is remarkable, I think, in whatever profession you're in. So I think Quorum is doing something right.
It's been an experience. This is the longest I've worked at any employer.
They're great. You couldn't ask for better people.
It's a great environment to work in. All of the individuals here have been really good to work with.
I appreciate their integrity and honesty and their care for their employees and their clients too.
I like the space, I like the people, I like the opportunity.
The atmosphere is great, the people are great, a very close family type atmosphere, which is nice, so get along with everybody, no animosity.
I like what we do and I like coming to work, and I have respect for the people I work with.
I think it's a great place. The people are great, you know, so those are probably the biggest things.
I appreciate them letting us expand and do what we need to do.
Well, I definitely like how the partners are able to work together. I mean, it's definitely unique that a firm has 5 different bosses, that they all get along, and the firm has been prospering for so long.
This is probably the best space I've ever worked in. The facility itself, with, you know, the high ceilings, exposed structure, you're not trapped.
That was one of the perks of coming to work for Quorums, I think. It's a unique space.
It's amazing that, you know, that they've had steady work, you know, all this time, you know, and because I see other places where there hasn't been, you know. So it's, and the type of work that they do a variety of projects and things.
We've been able to stay in business and not lay people off.
I like working with, you know, different managers, different projects, so I've been able to do some retail, so that's been good.
Seriously, it is the people, because, you know, we've got a lot of people that are 10 years plus here, and so not a lot of turnover. You know, you get to be a family, and the guys here are really great. They don't micromanage. They let you do your job, and they're very supportive, and they're just really nice.
There's always an opportunity out there to just have fun, helping clients out, mentoring the younger people in the office or the older people in the office.
They think about the people who work here. They want to grow their partnership and their business from within. I like that about them.
My role is to build the firm in any way that I know possible, whether it's clients, whether it's people, whether it's technology, office space, whatever. But what I'm trying to do is to take this group of people we have and make sure that we're feeding enough work in there and that these people have what they need.
They're also different. So, I mean, they work together as a team, but they each kind of do their own thing.
I think they work very well together. I think the partners complement each other on each one bringing their own expertise and knowledge, and it seems to be a good mixture of knowledge and resources.
And taking what they've learned that they didn't want to do at these other firms, and to acknowledge that and say that, you know, we want to do something better. We want to build something that is unlike what we've experienced before, and to mold that into something new, this new democracy of these 5 guys that are working together for a common vision. And the important thing is working together, that it's not just one voice.
They're doing a great job, and listening to obviously their employees is, you know, key, and I think they do that. And so they're moving forward with some good ideas, and I hope that it all works out for another 20 years.
You know, my vision is to take what we've learned at 20 years and to supercharge it and to turn it into what really, you know, the vision of this firm could be, which is taking all the people in the firm and taking all the talents of what everybody does best and then making that go out and fit what we're doing in the world.
Whatever passion you can bring to the table is really important. Maybe a quiet passion, it may be a boisterous, gregarious, outgoing passion. We have room for all that, and we have personalities in the office that kind of reflect all those different levels of intensity, but really don't think of it as a job. Think of it as, hey, you know, this is my home away from home, and what can I do today to kind of make things happen? And if you keep that attitude, I think that keeps you moving along. It's really important.